Hello, OLLU students. I'm in Berverley, Yorkshire, at the Robin Hood Conference, and I'm going to talk to Professor Stephen Knight, who's at the University of Cardiff.
That's right.
And I have a few questions about Robin Hood that I hope will help you begin your course. So first of all, when you're talking to somebody who's never studied Robin Hood before, what are the things that you think are most important to keep in mind and to look for?
Okay. Well, I don't think it's very interesting to worry, did Robin Hood really exist? What I say is, the myth exists. It's more important than that. Okay, well, what I boil it down to is this, that Robin always represents sort of natural law. He's in nature and he follows a true inner ethical law. And his enemies are usually the local agents of law. That could be the sheriff, or it could be the abbot, because the church, here we are outside one from the period, St Mary's, because the church will own a lot of land and own a lot of people and be pretty bullying sometimes. So the abbot, the monk, they're sort of agents of the state in a sort of way. And in some way or another, Robin will resist them, outwit them, but he'll also do it in a spirit of fun, enjoyment. He and his band will express their sort of liberty, sometimes like what North Americans know a lot about, tricksters. Sometimes they have a trickster spirit, they play jokes, they disguise, but sometimes they disguise for serious purposes. Robin disguises himself as a beggar to rescue two of his men from the scaffold. So I think natural law is at the core of it, and it works in the forest, and of course you see that in films, but also in the ballads that I think students are going to read it. They begin in the beautiful early summer forest, and the films get that so well.
Well, we're in Texas, where we don't have beautiful early summer forest.
Okay.
And we're actually, the part of Texas we're in, well, we used to be part of Spain. So what relevance does this very English outlaw hero have for the Southwest, and particularly the Spanish Southwest?
Okay. The forest in Robin Hood is always outside a town. It's never a desert or the highlands. And so the Robin's people, including Robin, have usually been in the town, and they've been hard pressed in the town. So the forest is a sort of place of liberation. Now I think you have, prairies, mountains that express that, and I'm sure that's true in Mexico as well. The stories are a conflict between the oppressions of modern society, including its urban forces, and the freedoms we ought to have, but sometimes have to defend. So, this is it's like, Billy the Kid on the Road, or Robin Hood of the Pecos was a great Mexican movie, wasn't it? Robin Hood seems to be the international hero. There's the sheriff now. And most places, including of course many in America and Mexico and so on, have their own local heroes. Jesse James, and many in Mexico I wouldn't know, would your students
Pancho
know?
Villa.
Pancho Villa, yes, of course. But Robin Hood seems to be the international one. Everybody has a local hero, and Robin represents something bigger. And somehow films have spread that around the world, though the ballads that you'll be looking at, they were quite popular in America. Robin Hood, who resisted the king, meant something in 18th century America. He was a Republican and a Democrat at the same time.
Thank you. Okay. You mentioned in your talk that there was still a lot to be done looking at these broadside ballads. Yeah. What are some other areas that, looking into Robin Hood studies of scholarship, that students can explore?
Well, I'd say the sort of work you did, which is looking seriously at a whole series, television series. What's going on? How does it change? What are they up to? What are the coded messages? Because I've taught Robin Hood to media students and film students, and they find a lot in it, because as Leah will have told you about this, the recent Robin Hood series is fairly cleverly and seriously, it's a lot of fun, but it's also got a serious bite to it. And they always have, my kids like looking at the 1954 British television series. They laugh at first because it's black and white and a tiny screen, and they start watching it. This is quite interesting. And it's really about a Britain which is trying to return to forms of democracy and self-representation, and the Normans are clearly, Tory landowners.
And the 1950s series is interesting because you have all those blacklisted Americans
Right.
overriding the scripts.
Yeah,
And
it was written by people like Ringlander Jr. So guys who really knew what a sheriff meant. They had their passports taken away, and it's very. I mean, they put a little bit of steel into the story. Yeah.
where do you think Robin Hood is going in the future?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of Robin Hood games, aren't there? Not as many Robin Hood games as the King Arthur games. I think. I'm not a game expert, but he's not going to go away. He will probably reform generically, electronically. You've talked elsewhere about all the stories on the web. What was always interesting about Robin Hood is not a high genre person. There is no Robin Hood opera, no Shakespeare play. Milton didn't write Robin Hood. Robin Hood's sort of down and dirty, as it were, on the streets and can always change. You can do whatever you like with the Robin Hood story. So, I think he'll be there somewhere.
Thank you very much.
Okay, pleasure. Enjoy yourselves, students.